All right. I am so excited for you guys to meet my friend Lyndsey. Linds, how are
Hi.
you doing today?
Good. I'm loving that it's warm out and nice finally.
I know it's so nice. We deserve this weather. We
I
both live in Utah, and there's some. It's finally getting warm. So
yeah.
good. Well, okay. So I want you guys to meet Lindsey because I seriously every time we talk on a weekly basis and a scheduled call. We're friends, so we probably talk other times, but we have a scheduled call every week, and every time I talk to Lindsey about her health journey, I just think we've got to record this. I just love Lyndsey's mindset about her journey. And I think her story is very unique in that she'll kind of tell you a little bit more, but her journey is one of her mindset and really switching that around. And I'm just so proud of Lyndsey for what she's accomplished. I'm going to brag about you, Lindsey. You guys have to see her some of her pictures. I'll actually pull it up in just a minute so you guys can kind of see her physical transformation. And Lindsey, I think it's interesting. We were just talking about this the other day, and you can tell me what you think about this, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because when I show your picture, you have had a lot of success with your health and it's very visible. But that same picture, like you could have that same picture whether you change your mind or not, change your mindset.
Yeah.
But what I love about your journey is that you have literally, like, everything's different up in your head. And for me, from the experience that I've had from being a health coach for about 9 years, that's when I know that's lifelong health.
Cool.
So what do you think about that?
It's just, I don't know. It's funny that you say when you talk, you think we should record it because to me, like, it doesn't seem like anything. It's so, I don't know, like, even back when I started talking to you, I feel like I didn't realize what I was doing, but I feel like because we're friends, we live right by each other. And so I didn't really know Chantel did like Optavia or anything. But we were kind of just talking and I feel like I was dipping my toes in the water a little bit just to see like, oh, like, I don't like it just, I just kind of wanted to explore a little because it didn't even seem like a thing to me. And it doesn't seem like my health journey is really anything like major or anything. If it could help somebody a little bit, like that would be awesome. But it just seems like just the little things, you know?
Yeah, I'm always telling Lynch, you're A plus. You're A plus. You're. I hope that other people can grasp this. You're so humble to think that it's just no big deal, but you are definitely headed down the right path. And I think you're right. I think that if your story can help anybody, then that makes it even more worth it. So let me share your picture, Lens, and you probably hate this. No, you're awesome to be willing to share, but like really, you look. Just that smile says it all.
I know. It's like not even the bodies, the before pictures. It's like just, oh, I don't know. I just remember feeling so much more just discouraged, but I didn't feel like I was a discouraged or like a down person, but it's nice to like feel different. So I recognize it now.
I hear this a lot, and I know we've talked about this, but like you didn't know how good you could feel. Have you felt like that?
Yeah, it just was honestly, yeah, exactly. It was totally unknown to me. I didn't even know to be missing something because I didn't really know it was out there. Even I remember when I started talking with you, I was never one of those people that was like, yes, I'm starting now and I'm going to be this person on this planet. I'm going to go like, because I always was like, I don't even believe that, I don't even know what it could be. And I don't know why in my head, I always thought there's healthy people and non-healthy people. And that made total sense to me. And it's just funny now because I thought I'm not one of like those people or like, that's not me. And so that's not somewhere I could get. And I just don't even know. It's funny now because I don't think there's even such thing as this healthy person that has arrived at some place and like knows this secret. But I honestly thought like you have to just have that in your DNA or something. I just didn't realize how it could look like its own like Lyndsey's healthy way and like how empowering it could be because it's I kind of my own what's worked for me and my own like types of food and activity and mindset. And that's why I think I feel better than I ever thought I would, because it's not me following in like some path that I thought was this ideal, like I'm going to be this healthy person, you know.
Mhm.
But going along and trying to find my path, I am just such like obviously Chantel knows, but I analyze everything, and we had so
Yes,
many
she does.
conversations.
I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, that's true.
Yeah, we had so many conversations before I really started really
Mhm.
dug into the program, because it didn't seem like it could be a real thing to me to feel good and to feel energized. And of course, like everybody wants those things, but I don't know, I just felt like it was past me, or I could reach like a certain level and then that was maybe it. And just because that's what I had experienced before. And so a lot of this journey has been like uncomfortable, because I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize like there's more than I realized is out there. Does that
Yeah,
make sense? You know, like,
totally.
yeah.
Tell me more about this. I remember that first conversation that we had, and it was a lot of like, fixed mindset of this is the way that I've always viewed myself, and I'm not a healthy person. I try to be healthy, but this is the way I am. And I've tried lots of things, and there was kind of like this block almost that I remember, and
Yeah.
I feel like that shifted a lot for you. And you're explaining, like, what I understand that you're saying is like the biggest shift for you was like the of like taking away what you thought it was going to look like, almost like the expectations, or like what you thought would happen, kind of like just going into the unknown and saying, I'm not going to worry about the final destination. I'm going to focus on like the next step. So, and I know you've said that several times as we talk. So kind of like, I'm just curious, like what that actually looks like for you to be focused on the next step versus knowing a year from now what that's going to look like, and then freaking yourself out and being like, I can't do anything.
Yes. I just, in my mind, I thought, I don't even know why, but um, I just thought everything would feel so structured and rigid. I guess when I imagined before I actually started the journey, I just thought, okay, well, if I'm going to choose to be a healthy person, then that means like counting calories and being just, I don't know. It just seemed like kind of harsh. Like I didn't really picture that you could be like kind to yourself and exploring. Yes, like I didn't realize
Mhm.
that it didn't have to be um super serious. Yeah, and you could just explore and kind of have fun with it, and that was fine. And that's been so liberating for me to just be like, you know what? I chose, like, I want to have this treat, and what did I learn? And it's just like a fun way of looking at things, not like, oh, I fell off the wagon and now I'm back and now I'm losing weight and now I'm not. And I just, in my mind, I thought it would feel so kind of harsh. Um, but
That's
it's just been like, honestly, it's been really cool to find out, like, to find new things about myself and just be like, I can, just because one day or even a weekend I wanted to, like, I didn't meet my goals like I wanted, or it was hard, it doesn't say anything about me. And that's been like the coolest thing ever, to just be like, I can wake up and it's like fresh starts. Like I've never felt so many chances to just start fresh over and over, because I feel like I'm kind of like giving myself permission to just say it's okay, like it doesn't mean anything, and it's not like all of a sudden you're going to gain like 10 pounds. Like in my mind, at the beginning I thought it's the end of the world if you don't be really rigid with yourself and if you mess up. And I realized like that's just all part of it. And so it was kind of just not being scared and making, I guess, not letting being scared stop me, because I
Mhm.
realized all the stuff that I felt like, oh, see, this proves it's not possible, was really just fine. You know,
Mhm.
does that make sense? Like it was really just
Mhm.
part of it and normal. Um,
Mhm.
it just, I feel like I felt so uncomfortable a lot because it was just just a lot of it was new, and my body wasn't used to thinking that, you know what, it's okay. Like, um, every time after dinner, like maybe this is a tangent, but I always wanted something sweet after I eat dinner. Like, I just, and it just seemed like that's the way it is. And before I would feel like, all right, it's okay, love and accept yourself, and it's okay, just eat it or whatever. But I kind of started this thing where I'm like, that's okay. Like, I want something sweet, cool. Like, it doesn't mean anything about me. Like, and just sitting with it, like we've talked about, and just letting it just be
Mhm.
a craving and just being like, I'm, it sounds funny, but I'd be like, well, I'm still alive. It's still here. Like, and it just was cool because I'm like, I don't know why I felt like it would just, I would die or something if I didn't like listen to it all. Like, I was always trying so hard to honor my body. I realized it's okay to say I'm choosing something different. And this feels, to me, this is like more honoring my body now, to
Mm.
say, actually, I'm good. And it's so weird. Like, after I eat dinner, I'm seriously fine. I don't feel like I have to have something sweet or after lunch. And I think, I don't know if it's because I feel balanced now, like my body just has what it needs, or if it's because I got out of the habit. But
Mm.
it's so nice because it was feelings like that where I was like, why am I doing this? I should just, like, and but they like came and they went full circle. So
Okay, that is like a really interesting example right there. Like, I think you just blew some people's minds because I know if you would have told me that before I experienced something similar, I'd be like, no way. Like, there's no way that could switch like that. And I think you're right. I think it's a combination. It's a combination of your habits. Our brain is smart. Our brain works on routine. When you do something, it expects. It expects it. It's just like our kids, right? If you get the kids are like a perfect example of this.
yeah, they really are.
Like they like expect the same things at the same times, and then the one day you can't do it or don't do it, it's just like they lose it. Our brain does the same thing. It like throws a fit like a 2-year-old. We always talk about our brain as like this little child tantrum, and
I
we all
felt like a kid. Like, I wanted
yeah.
to please myself because I was like, this is so frustrating. And self-love means listening to yourself. And I'm like, it was so empowering to be like, actually, I'm going to choose something different. Like,
Yep.
I honestly didn't even know I could do that. Like, it's funny to say, but I just, I didn't know. I don't, it's just cool to like go a full day without sugar and be like, that was okay. Like, some days it's harder, but a lot of days it's like, it doesn't need to be this big thing, you know?
Absolutely. When you give in to your child's tantrum and kind of play with it, like give them attention and start getting mad at them, that only makes it worse when you give that extra energy towards it. And it's just like our brain when we play into that, like, oh, my brain wants this, like gotta honor, like you were saying, like the lies that your brain was telling you, like in order to have self-love, you need to respect yourself and give it what it wants, but instead, I love how you focused on really what you just explained is a cycle that we teach about emotional eating, about identify. And I mean, this is a whole this is opening up a whole new thing that we talked about, is like that emotional eating part where you identify what emotion, like at that moment after dinner, what emotion are you trying to what emotion are you feeling, and can you just feel that, and can you just feel disappointment for a second that you're not eating the brownie after dinner. Like, just because you feel that emotion doesn't mean that you have to eat the brownie. And our brain wants to tell us that we're going to die, and we've all felt that. Like, I will die if I do not eat the chocolate. But then
Yeah,
we just say, well, actually, we're not, and just sit there with that disappointment. Like,
it's true.
what does that feel like for you? Like when you have practiced that, just feeling your emotions versus buffering with food or unhealthy habits. Like, what does that look like for you?
It honestly feels so liberating to me because I've worked with, like, I've done a lot of counseling and work counseling and worked with life coaches trying to work through my emotions, but like this was another level I hadn't worked through, just to um I didn't expect, but just by acknowledging the emotion, I feel like I was able to, not that you have to, but I was able to like just let a lot of it go and just kind of be there for myself more. I didn't realize, but when I would just go for the food, because heaven knows I have like a big pile of kids and all this stuff all day. You just feel like you need a break and you need this. But I didn't realize that was actually kind of masking what I really, really wanted, which was like
Mm.
ultimately to feel better, you know? And I don't know, just going with it's something feeling like it's okay to feel the way you feel for me, probably for everybody, is just, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's been so what I needed. Like, I just needed like to look at things and be okay with just be okay with it sometimes. Not that every time, you know, but that it's just okay to feel that way and to go there with it. I don't know. I feel like I'm a different person, even though I had done a lot of like self work before. It was a new level because I had never gone about it this way.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So it's been uncomfortable though. It really has. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's uncomfortable at first, but it's so cool to think, wow, like I got through that. Oh my gosh, now look, like what's next? You know, I just never realized like if I wouldn't just, I think there was quite a few times, probably like five, where if I wasn't able to just like, okay, Chantel, you were talking good about me, but if I wasn't like, you have a way of showing love, but like helping people face their stuff so head on too, that I feel like in the past, that's when I would have just said, look, see, here's the proof that this isn't something for me. Like, I'm not meant to, whatever. In my head, I thought to be healthy. But just like every time, just being like, well, maybe what if I am? And like talking to you again every week. Honestly, if I just say one thing, that's what made the biggest difference because I don't like any journey, you're gonna like just question it, I feel like. And I would have so many good experiences, but it was really just that like consistency of like instead of trying to do everything like you were saying earlier, like I would get obsessed about thinking like how will it look um down the road
Yes, I
and
remember
just
that
be
conversation.
yes, like honestly that the one conversation we had was such a breakthrough to me, just like in a nutshell of like when you have a baby, you don't have to understand like how they're gonna be as a teenager and in college and as a like and as a baby. Like that was me with health. I was like, I need to know every fact about everything now, and I need to see how it will look. Um, but just to be like Chantel was like, this is you're a newborn. Like this is just a brand new thing for you. And for some reason, when you said it that way, it was like, yes, like it was so freeing to just be like, I don't have to have it all figured out.
Mhm.
I can just drink my water and go about my life and, you know, try to eat every 5 hours. And it just felt so nice to just, yeah, just doing like one little step. And that's seriously what added up to actually making a difference. I would have never even, I never felt like I was doing anything brilliant to make a huge difference, but like all those little things are what like made me feel like my mind just feels more level, honestly. Like I've always kind of struggled with like depression and anxiety a little bit, and I probably maybe always have some of that in me, but in general, just on the day to day, I feel more level. Like I feel like my brain is fed and just doesn't, it's just so much more peaceful. And I feel like energy, like I went with my sister today jogging and I never like thought, and it's not like I have to go jog and I'm not gonna like go be like, I'm doing a marathon now, but just to be able to go out and jog a little bit, like it just feels good. And to feel like stronger, to be able to feel it's just, you know, it's so empowering and all of those things. I didn't have to like do some crazy thing like I thought it would be. It was just those little tiny little things. It was so possible.
Wow. Seriously, so proud of you. Like, it's so true. You have done the work, and I'm just so proud of you. I'm curious, Linz, what would you say, like, for somebody that can relate to the way that you were feeling before, of just kind of in that place where it's just like, I mean, there's so many thoughts, like, where do I go? Just kind of hopelessness, just kind of that, like, it's so hard, like, just that feeling that you can relate to so well. What would you like? What's some advice that you would give them knowing what you do now?
Well, I would say that's so normal because
Yes.
I think I thought I was the only one, but now I'm realizing that's like actually what it looks like for a lot of people. and maybe not being scared to just ask someone that you look up to or someone that you think might be able to help. Like just asking like questions, because it was so nice for me to just start to explore in a way that I felt comfortable. And like for Chantel, I was just picking her brain and asking things, and she was so kind and open. And then just setting, like we were just talking about, the little teeny goals, maybe just setting those little ones for yourself that like everybody's going to find their different way. It worked really, really well having these, like, all these protein bars and things that Chantel told me about, because just I was kind of felt overwhelmed with figuring out the process, that it was nice to like just have extra help. And so it's nice if you have something that you can find that can just make it easier for you, because all of the programs where or anything where you're like trying to jump in and make huge changes, for me, like that always made me feel so frustrated. And I mean, because we're talking about these little teeny goals, so yeah.
And you told me earlier that, and I wrote it down because I loved it. It's like, you feel like what matters the most is like the consistency part. It's not this huge, big change, this big jump that we think that we need. It's like you're even like one choice away from feeling better. Is that, did I quote you right on that?
You're always one decision or choice away from getting back on track. That's how I think about it. Like, because part of life, we're here to enjoy it, and we're going to sometimes want to enjoy food, and like it's been cool to like actually choose and be thoughtful about it, but sometimes every now and then you're just you're not. And but just to realize that's fine. The next like snack you have, or the next thing, like have it be something that makes you feel good or that sticks more with your goals, and then you're like right back on track. It's not like, oh, you're derailed and now doesn't say anything about you, I guess, is what I realized,
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that all or nothing mentality. And I see that switch with you a lot. Is it's not, I'm like, even if it's that one choice, maybe you get derailed for a second. It's not even derailing, because that would be the all or nothing. It's a lifestyle change. It's giving yourself that grace and getting right back on track as soon as you can. And just giving yourself that grace. I love how you've had that mentality. So good.
Like, I remember you saying once, you're like, oh, well, that's fine that you ate these things, because even even, I don't remember how you said it, like a mess up this is learning too, like this is progress. So it really is how you look at it, and to say what progress really looks like, except ourselves,
Absolutely. It almost gives you, when you mess up, that almost teaches you more than staying the course sometimes. Like, you have to mess up. You think of a child learning how to walk, like they just don't get up and walk. Like that's unrealistic to think that. And yet we have that expectation for ourselves. I mean, with everything, Lynn, it's right. It's not just health. All the things that we're learning here is like, it's for parenting. It's for our spirituality. It goes in every aspect of life. And yet we think that the second we fall, we failed. And then we have shame and guilt to stand up again. Do you ever watch a child learn how to walk? Remember watching our kids? It's like they fall down 100 times, and yet they don't make it to mean anything. They just hop right back up and keep going. You remind me a lot of that. Just, all right, hop back up.
Yeah, it's taken a lot. It's been so good for me in every area of my life, though, because I really did feel like things should be, like I should have this figured out. And I realized with so many areas, like parenting and everything, it's just, we're just trying, and it can look like a mess to me, but that's just like a normal progression,
Yes.
But it reminded me what you were saying earlier. It reminds me, like, this weekend we were at our cabin, and sometimes I get that feeling of like, oh, I just want to treat myself. We're having this fun big breakfast and homemade bread. And so like, I'm like, yeah, I'll let myself. And so I'll eat a little bit of it, and I enjoy it in the moment. But honestly, like I can tell the difference now. I never thought I would notice. Like, I just thought it was so random, like how I would feel different times, you know? But I just wanted to say it's just been cool to see that there is like a method to why. Like, I noticed, you know what? I feel a lot more irritated now, and I just feel like grouchy. At least for me. Maybe it's different. Um and I just could feel my mood was off, and I just wanted so bad to just like get some protein and veggies, and because I noticed that that made a difference. And honestly, that's such a new thing for me. I honestly would kind of eat whatever, trying to eat healthy, and just feeling like everything that was happening was just random, like my mood and how I felt. And so it's just cool to be like, oh, this is actually something I want to do, and that makes me feel good, you know?
Yes, what a great point.
I don't feel like I'm forcing myself in any way. I honestly don't. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I view food more as like, what way, how am I gonna like fuel my body today, or how am I gonna nourish myself? And that's like, that's really exciting, you know, rather than just trying to balance out everything you're eating and feel okay, and you know.
The awareness is the key here. Like, just the fact that you have noticed how you feel. And I think that sometimes we tell ourselves that, we feel a certain way because of maybe genetics, or I struggle with this because of X, Y, and Z. And we have ideas, but really, are we doing what we can to be healthy? Yes, there are certain things that are out of our control, right? Like, there are mental illnesses, there are certain things, I have a broken arm, like I can't do anything about my broken arm, my pain or something. But what we can do is we can focus on the healthy habits. We can focus on what we can create. And it's interesting how that actually helps almost every situation. Yeah, you're going to feel the pain of your broken arm, and healthy habits aren't necessarily going to cure your, that's not going to like cure your arm, but maybe being healthier could boost your immune system. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, you can still have those healthy habits and improve all other areas of your life. And like, it really does affect so much. I think that's just a huge, huge thing that I hear. And I remember feeling of when I made that shift of being healthier, it's like, I had just to go back to what we were talking before, I had no idea how good I could feel. I can't tell you how many times I hear that from people. I had no idea. I was lying to myself that my tiredness wasn't related to my healthy habits. There's so much we can do. And even to this day, I've been doing this 9 years. I still have to learn that lesson over and over again. Okay, I don't like the way I feel when I eat 5 brownies. So I'm just gonna eat 1 this time, right?
Yeah.
So
It's just so cool because when you're trying, like most of us, like you try so hard to feel good. For me, it was just like there's this exciting, it was kind of like an untapped reservoir of like, well, what could the possibilities be? You know, I think if you look at it as like exploring, well, like what do I really have to lose? Like I'm not gonna start feeling worse. And I remember like journaling about it and being like when they were talking, like what health goals would you have? I was like, I don't know, like I don't even know what I could feel like. Maybe it would be cool to have, you know, different things I would write, but I didn't know if it was even possible. But just to see some of it come about, it's just like a bonus. Like, oh, this is, you know, it's just all like positives instead of like, I feel like it's a lot more helpful to look at it that way rather than I need to do this because I need this or that, because you don't really need it. We're all living the way we are now. Like we just have everything to gain. And I had I honestly didn't know how much I had no idea. Like if I tried to think, what would healthiness do for me? Like I just wouldn't have known like all the areas it would affect. And it's just really, really cool. I honestly feel so grateful. Like it's just so neat.
I am just so grateful for you for sharing your journey. I think a lot of people can relate to that, and just give hope and inspire somebody that might be in that place, and just kind of give a little insight of what that journey looks like for you. That is just amazing. Do you have anything else that you want to share?
Well, like when I couldn't see how it would be, like honestly, having a plan and talking to you every week, like that's what it just was huge for me. Like Chantel, she has a way. You just have a way, honestly,
You're so cute.
of helping people see like I don't know. It just, that's what I would say though, is just like being consistent with talking through things and with the plan. It wasn't a big deal. It was just the consistency. It wasn't the hardness of anything.
Yes, it's simple. It's simple. It's not easy. It's simple, right? Because it's not easy being consistent, but it is simple to be consistent. And I appreciate that, Lindsay. I just have loved how teachable you are and how ready you are for the change and how willing you are to accept help. I think a lot of us we are at certain points in our life where, like it's hard to ask for help. It's like you want to be that independent person. You want to be like, no, I got this, right? I'll figure it out. And whether it's pride or whether it's like, I don't want to bug somebody else, or I don't, whatever. I don't want to have to like invest in myself or get the tools or whatever, because, what you insert the excuse, but it takes humility, and it takes being teachable to say, you know what, I might need a little bit of help, and I'm open to that help. So I just admire you so much, Lynn. Thank you so much.
That's really nice of you to say, because I've given you a lot of hard times with all my
I love it though.
It's normal. This is great. And I'm glad that there was the space for me to just be my skeptic self, like it's okay. And it's just cool. So
totally. It's all welcome here. I love it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hopping on. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks, Chantel.
See ya. Bye.